Hello, YouTube. Now, I've been hearing a lot of talk about pre-order and DLC and or keys to unlock things that are on disc, or as they call it, on disc DLC. And I guess this is a video response to one of AlphaOmegaSin's many videos. But this is kind of my own thing too. Now, the thing is, AlphaOmegaSin covers a lot of DLC news or on-disc news, and a lot of the stuff, he gives his opinion on, and I don't mind his opinion. His opinion is valid. But the thing I don't think that a lot of people know is that pre-order DLC is not the publishers or the developers making, and they don't even want to make it. It's actually the stores, because a couple of years ago I was reading an article where apparently stores like GameStop and Best Buy and Future Shop and stores that do a lot of pre-orders think that they won't be able to get a game, that people won't be able to buy a game unless there's some sort of pre-order DLC or some sort of incentive for them to pre-order it. Now, of course, that is complete bullshit, because people will buy a game whether they have the pre-order DLC or not. So what the stores do is they actually pay developers to make the DLC for them so that they can quote-unquote sell the game, because the game won't sell unless there's some sort of pre-order. And again, that's complete bullshit. People will buy the game in the first week even if there's a pre-order bonus or not. Now, again, pre-order DLC is kind of a tricky subject, because I don't like it either, because it's like, what the hell? Plus, I'll just get it later. Plus, a store that I pre-ordered from, especially in the later half of 2011 and till about March, was called Video Games Plus. It's Canada's largest independent video game store. There's about 2 stores, and they have an online store that ships worldwide, and they get imports and all that stuff. Their pre-order bonus was interesting, because it was like, pre-order a game from us, we give you this card, you get it stamped every time you get a pre-ordered game, and basically when you get 12 stamps, you get a free game for $60 or less. And that's not include. So basically, like, say Lollipop Chainsaw was coming out and you didn't pre-order it for whatever reason, or you were kind of mixed about it, you could potentially use that card to pick up that game type of deal. Or maybe a game that's already out, like Mass Effect 3 or Mortal Kombat Complete Edition, or Red Dead Redemption Game of the Year Edition, something like that. Plus, they also had the thing, if they get the game in before the release date and you've pre-ordered it, you can pick it up 4 days before it comes out, or whenever they pick it up before the official release date, which was kind of cool. And it was really nice, and it wasn't like, oh, here's some pre-order DLC that you'll eventually be able to buy for $5. I'm looking at you, GameStop, with the Mortal Kombat. I did pre-order the Mortal Kombat, and I was glad I got the shirt, and technically, do things like that. Get shirts and stuff. Don't give us DLC. Give us, like, game shirts, or kind of like a VGP deal or something like that. Don't give us, like, DLC, because, again, you're wasting time on the developers. You're pissing people off that don't understand the whole process, and you're pissing people off because the DLC is not even really that worth it. But then again, it's not the publisher's thing to do it, and again, it's always kind of locked on the disc anyway. So really, the stores are to blame for the pre-order DLC. Now, no, the developers don't really have to, but what money talks. Like, if a store is going to pay you money to develop something so that they can get the game to sell, I guess, is their kind of feeling behind it, why not? Now, the other thing, too, is the whole DLC. Now, everybody's kind of, and the game I want to pick out is Street Fighter X Tekken. I own the collector's edition for the PS3. Now, I can understand where people are coming from, but, and yes, I think people are not so pissed off that there's locked things on the disc. I think it's because it's the blatantness for DLC, because Capcom's reason is valid, because if we all remember, this information is on the disc, so we don't have to do a Super Street Fighter X Tekken, or we'll insert extra title here and have to buy a $40 game all over again. But the fact is, we're basically spending $40 if you want all the costumes and you want all the this. Now keep in mind, especially with this one, because it's all on the disc, Capcom did have this planned out and almost finished and all that stuff. So really, it is Capcom's fault. They should have put it all on the disc. Plus, the Vita version's going to get it all for free. So it really doesn't make sense. But people are going to buy it. Some people aren't, and I can respect that. Because some people want to support them no matter how ludicrous it is, or how crazy it is, or how stupid it is, whatever wording you want to use. But the point is, it kind of made sense, because we'd either get a whole new version and it would cost us $40 and it may include the costumes. It might not have included the costumes, because if you notice with Super Street Fighter 4, it didn't come with the costumes from Street Fighter 4. You still had to buy the Street Fighter 4 costumes, although the Street Fighter 4 costumes drastically dropped in price. And that's the thing too. You could always wait. No one says you have to buy the DLC. Or you could wait for the sale, because I'm noticing that Sony has a lot of sales. I'm not sure about Microsoft in terms of on disc, or disc game DLC, but I noticed that Sony's having a lot of sales and so on and so forth, so you could wait for a sale or something like that. But again, their reason was kind of valid, but again, it kind of showed we planned this all along, and it's kind of like, well, you shouldn't plan it all along. You should release the characters anyway for free. They should have. And the way they handle it, how I expected that DLC in particular to work, is either because of the backlash. Okay, it's here, we'll sell it to you for $5. We'll give you 12 characters for $5, or we'll give them to you for $7, some sort of cheap price, or for free. Same thing with the costumes, cheap price or for free. And they didn't do that, so they kind of dropped the ball on it. Again, it was either this DLC thing, which many people call a scam, or buy a new game again. Buy the game again, only with the extra stuff. So it's kind of like a pick your poison type of deal. Would you have rathered the DLC, or would you rather to have re-picked up all the titles again? Or the title again? And again, to a certain extent, some people get it, some people don't. But regardless, Capcom kind of dropped the ball on that one, but that's how it goes, I guess. And in terms of pre-order DLC, again, it's the stores. Go bitch at the stores. Bitch out the stores, because it's the store's fault. Now, of course, somebody who works there is probably going to bitch me out or something, or blah, 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 blah. But again, I know game developers, I know game industry veterans, I studying game design, and, most of the stuff I'm being told in school, at least with the pre-order stuff anyway, and so on and so forth. Plus there was that article I read about 2 or 3 years ago, I think, on GameSpot. So, with that in mind, pre-order DLC, not really the fault of the developer, more the fault of the store, but again, it's all locked on the disc. And again, it's kind of like no one says you have to buy it. So, if you want it, then buy it. If you don't want it, or you don't want to pay for it, no one says you have to buy it. There's no law that says, you must buy DLC. So, again, and I can understand what the concern of the future of gaming is. It going to be oh, I have to buy games in pieces. I don't think it's going to come to that, because, again, a lot of people will rise up and destroy that sort of mentality and be like, fuck you, we won't pay for that if you're going to give us pieces. Fuck all that shit. Pieces, screw you. And that kind of thing. And again, Gamers know what they want, and if it comes down to it, when push comes to shove, they will come at you and be like, screw you. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this discussion, and I hope you've learned something, or maybe you didn't learn something, or you kind of got sort of the other side to it. Now, of course, I said I was studying game design. Does that mean I'm going to become a game developer? No, because unfortunately I can't program for the life of me, and I can draw, but not at the speed that a game developer draws. So my speed is too slow, and note, the game industry pisses me off a lot of the time, especially on the development front, and I'll probably discuss that at a later time. But for now, I hope you have enjoyed. Rate, subscribe, like, share, you know the deal. And I hope to see you here next time, here on YouTube.